The 2022 Cars mainline is finally showing up in stores. And although there aren't many new releases in it as of yet, this mainline, I think, has been one of the best mainlines for re-releases in the past few years, with a very heavy focus on re-releases from the first two Cars movies, which I think is really great. Cars 1 and 2 have been severely lacking in representation ever since Cars 3 came out, so it's good to see more of a focus on the first two movies, and I think these are some of the best re-releases we've had in years now. I think 2022 is going to be an incredible year for re-releases. It already is one. There are definitely some duds in there, but I think a lot of these re-releases are great, and a lot of them come from around 2016, which is one of my all-time favorite years for the Cars toy line. There are so many great releases from that year that I wasn't able to pick up, and now they're super expensive, and now they're getting re-released this year, so I'm really excited. And in addition to that, 2022 has introduced something very interesting, something quite different. For once, we've actually gotten a change in how cars are packaged. We're used to the style of packaging changing every year, but usually that's just how the graphic design changes. Each year we get a different sort of background nowadays, different logos and all that. Sometimes different formats for the Cars diecast line, like in 2021 when they dropped the series format for an as seen in format. But this year, they actually changed how the cars are packaged. Instead of having a two-piece bubble, we now have a form-fitting bubble around the car with a little piece sticking out. This was probably done to conserve plastic. A lot of toy companies are trying to go for a more plastic-free angle in terms of packaging, and it seems for the Cars diecast line, they are cutting down on plastic by doing these form-fitting bubbles, and I gotta say, I didn't think I'd like these, but I think they're really cool. I think it's so cool, and it makes the 2022 Cars stand out from what we've had in past years with the traditional bubble. It just makes them a lot more unique. And another cool thing is that every bubble is unique now. Everyone is different. And I don't know, I just think there's something really cool about that. I also really like this little bubble part that still sticks out a bit. I don't know why, but I ended up liking this packaging a lot more than I thought I would at first. Now, also, the name tag has been moved up to a little strip here, which unfortunately seems like it's going to come clean off when you open the car up. Anyway, guys, welcome back to yet another review. Today we're going to take a look at the 2022 re-release of Cars 1, Ralph Carlo, his first re-release in years. I only have the Cars 3 Ralph Carlo. I have a Disney Store Cars 1 Ralph Carlo that I reviewed recently. I'm very excited to take a look at this guy, so let's get started. We've got Ralph Carlo there on the packaging. We have a few different styles of packaging for 2022. There is this sort of stadium background and then more of like a desert background, which is a really cool thing, having slightly different backgrounds based off of the car. I don't really know how I feel about this style of packaging. It is very stylized. I like when they've done more stylized packaging in the past, but like, I don't know. It kind of reminds me of the 2010 Piston Cup Nights style card back. It's definitely interesting, but I really like the red. I think the red really pops and really looks good. And it's just a very interesting style here with the silhouette of a racetrack. Kind of reminds me of the Thomasville racetrack and these sort of blue streaks. Really interesting. I don't really know how I feel about it, but I think it definitely does do a good job at making the artwork of the character pop, and I think that's something very important for the packaging. I really like Blue Desert because it allowed the cars to pop on the background, although unfortunately it cut a lot of them off by making the images of the cars a bit too big. And I like how this packaging has that bright red behind the cars, making them pop a bit. The packaging, the card back shape, is a little bit shorter than usual. I just dropped Hall in gas. Please ignore that. And it also seems to be maybe a little wider, I think, maybe? Probably not. No, actually it's pretty much the same height. Yeah, never mind. It's basically the exact same size. It just looks a little shorter and wider to me for some reason. But I think that's just a trick of the eye because the bubble is a bit smaller, so it makes the rest look bigger in comparison. Ralph Carlo written there on the tire track strip. We've got the metal logo inside the bubble. Very interesting. Of course, the metal logo being something they introduced last year. I am not a fan of how the back of the packaging looks. I don't know, I just don't really like this design. Maybe they should have gone with the blue stripes from the front. I don't know. We've got As Seen in Cars with Matthew True Blue McCrew, Hall Ingas, Sheriff, Mater, Marlon Clutches McKay, Darla Vanderson, who I've got right up there. Also have Marlon on the floor currently. I bought him to repaint him. I have the rest of these guys. And finally, Holiday Hotshot McQueen, who wasn't seen in Cars. You guys will see for 2022, these As Seen in things, they just keep messing them up, and it's getting really annoying. But I'll talk about that in a future review. But they did that last year, putting the holiday cars as seen in Cars. And, you know, despite the fact that these singles weren't showing up until February, yeah, they still released a Holiday Hotshot McQueen this year, probably because this case was delayed. Let's get Ralph out of the package. Let's see here. This is going to be a really interesting opening experience. Just trying to do this, causing minimal damage. This is so interesting. With these bubbles, and now I dropped Ralph. Great. Alright, look at that. Very interesting. I was concerned that the cardboard would be a little too thin, or like would be at risk of ripping, but no. It's pretty much the same as taking off the bubble of an older release. And look at that. It's so interesting. Having that form-fitting bubble, like I said, Ralph's name came clean off, unfortunately. Anyway, though, here he is out of the package. Sorry that it took so long to get to him. I just had so much to say with that new style of packaging. Since this is my first 2022 single review, I had to say it all now. Here's Ralph out of the package. I know the Thailand releases of the Cars 1 Piston Cup racers are very controversial. You can see he's using the Nitroade mold here, you know, similar to some other racers. It's got a similar expression to several others that have been released. Compared to a lot of the other Cars 1 Piston Cup racers that Thailand has made, I think Ralph is definitely one of the better looking ones, especially in terms of expression. I think his expression looks just fine. Little Turkey Pistons logo there with their little mascot. It continues in a stripe going all the way down there. We've got the 117 on his headlight. Moving on to the side, we've got the Piston Cup, Nitroade, Revolting, Mood Springs, Octane Gain, Vitaline, No Stall, Gaskets, Gasprin, Easy Idle, RPM, Little Turkey Pistons, Leakless, let's see, it's a retread under there, as well as Clutch Aid, number 117 again, with that little red and white sort of swish design. Little Turkey Pistons there. Huge gas cap. What happened there? Is that supposed to be painted in? I don't know. Usually the gas caps are painted in gray, and it like obstructs part of the logo. It's nice to see that here it wasn't, so that you could actually see the Little Turkey Pistons mascot. I wonder if that's supposed to be painted in and they messed up there. I'm not too sure. There's the 117 once again up top. Little Turkey Pistons logo on the back, and on the back here, really interesting design with these red and white sort of swishes. Got another 117. There is a look at the other side. Once again, Little Turkey Pistons logo. 117, same exact style of swoosh design there. And there is a look at the base. This has definitely been more of a 2022 packaging review than it has been a Ralph Carlo review, but I hope you guys enjoyed nonetheless. I just had a lot to say about the new style of packaging. I think it's really interesting. And as for Ralph, he's not one of my favorite Cars 1 Piston Cup racers, but I do like how he looked a lot more than I thought I would. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.